We now have a solution to at least some of the puzzle around Russian election hacking in Florida 3 years ago. The Washington Post reports that Washington County in the Florida Panhandle was one of the 2 Florida counties that were actually breached by Russian hackers in the election year of 2016. Now, this comes after Tuesday's bizarre briefing by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, in which he came out and told reporters about the hack, but said he couldn't name which 2 counties had been penetrated because the FBI made him agree not to, which leaves a lot of questions about what exactly happened, the nature of the access to voter files that Russians had gained, and most importantly, how to keep it from happening again. Now, the Washington Post reports that Florida lawmakers, quote, were frustrated that the FBI and Department of Homeland Security officials who briefed them weren't able to guarantee the breaches hadn't resulted in election information being compromised. The officials would say only that they found no evidence that any data was altered or affected, lawmakers said. Officials also assured them vote counts and electoral processes were not affected. Mark Caputo has been reporting on this for Politico. His latest piece is specifically about the Washington County breach. Mark, I guess let's start there. So DeSantis comes out and says the federal government told me that 2 counties were breached, doesn't say which ones, and then reporting suggests today that it is, in fact, Washington County is one of them. That's as much as we know right now?
Yeah, and it's really difficult getting answers out of the FBI. I spent 30 minutes on the phone with a spokeswoman just to get her to answer the yes or no question, is the identity of the 2 counties classified? It took 30 minutes. It was kind of an exercise in reading Kafka or maybe Alice in Wonderland. It was kind of bizarre. Also, as part of that, we determined that the counties are allowed to disclose the information that they had been hacked, but the governor, whose office kind of oversees the counties, is not allowed to disclose the information that they had been hacked because the FBI made him sign an NDA.
Let me just stop right there. I have never heard of NDAs in this context, ever in my life. I mean, I've covered politics, you've covered politics. The FBI, I mean, the governor signed a non-disclosure agreement? That is weird.
Oh, yeah, no, that's my reaction as well. Now, the FBI says that this does happen when they have sensitive information to share. And when we asked, OK, well, how many times have you made a governor sign an NDA? Well, we didn't really get an answer to that. And in this case, we also have the FBI saying there's a victim here, and the victim are the 2 county election offices that had been hacked. And it's up to the victim to disclose. And we said, well, the victim, and it's not just us, but lawmakers as well, the victim are the voters, the public,
right,
who work, for whom the elections offices work. And in the FBI's view, they're not really the victims. And meanwhile, as a result of this kind of battening down of public information in this vacuum, all of these conspiracy theories are starting to pour. It looks like a cover-up and blah, 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 blah. And this is kind of what happens when they're not really forthcoming. Well, no one can explain why they're not being forthcoming.
OK, so Washington County, which is a county that Donald Trump won by huge numbers, it's a fairly conservative red county. You know, they said basically, and we don't know the other counties. So that's the information. Do we know the level of access? Like, what does it even mean? Has someone sort of walked the public through, like, could they go in and, like, erase people's information or change their addresses? Do we know?
We don't know that. They do say that they had gained access. Governor DeSantis said something interesting at the press briefing, that this was a spear phishing attack. That is, there was an email sent to some counties, and in 2 counties, people fell for it. They opened up the email, it downloaded the malware, and then the Russians apparently got in. He said, but it was kind of sophisticated. At least it looked like a real email from a vote security firm, and it didn't look like a Nigerian banker scam. Right. DeSantis had said. But what's interesting there is that DeSantis, the governor, is disclosing, look, this was a spear phishing attack. This is what happened. So disclosing the names of the counties is not going to disclose the sensitive investigative techniques of the FBI. So we're once again back at kind of square one of the FBI says, look, well, basically they say, look, they don't say it. The counties are the victims. The victim can disclose. The public is not a victim, even though the county works for the victim. And the state overseeing the counties is not allowed to disclose because we made the governor sign an NDA. And, the members of Congress who we briefed had classified clearances, and they can't disclose because of their clearances. So we're back to square one, wondering what the hell is going on.
You know, it seems to me the most important, I mean, the counties themselves seem important. We should know which two counties. But more important than that is just actually a public briefing on what exactly happened. I mean, given the fact these are the voter files, it's just not quite enough to say to people, like, don't worry, they didn't do anything too crazy. Like, I want to know, what did they do? What could they have done?
Right. Well, you referenced the Mueller report before. If you read in the Mueller report in Section 1, what's pretty fascinating is how the Russians, they tunneled in to the DNC's email network, and they set up a VPN, a virtual private network, and then the Russians are able to explore and look around and basically kind of have free reign, according to the Mueller report. It doesn't look like that happened here in Florida, but I don't understand how the Mueller report can disclose that in the case of the DNC, but not here, in the case of the two counties where voter data had been hacked.
Mark Caputo has been doing great reporting on this. Thanks for making some time tonight.
Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.